Hi, it's Clive here, and this is module 0, and we're in the first sub-module, which is all about checking out if our site is ready. Are we ready? Now, the first thing that I need to ask you is, which category do you fall in? Do you fall into the category of somebody who has a site or someone that doesn't have a site? Now, if you have a site, and the fact that you're here at Web Delegation, I'm assuming it is not working the way that you want it to work. So let's have a look at that first. The first thing I'd want to establish is whether your current site is set up using WordPress. And if it is, that's great, because I'm just going to say to you, move on to the next sub-module, because you don't need to listen to anything else here. But I suspect that maybe it's not. So what has it been set up with? Now, web designers years ago, I mean, I'm talking about the last 15, 10 years, 5 years, whatever, even up to the present day, are building sites using HTML, which is refers to a type of code. I don't want to confuse you with all that, but essentially a lot of websites are sort of just business card websites. They're static. Now, if that's the case with your current site, then you have, don't worry, whatever the situation, Web Delegation is going to help you out. You've got a couple of choices, and the choices are these. We'll show you how to optimize what you've got. In other words, whatever you've currently got, Web Delegation will show you how to optimize the pages you have, or give you the information you need to ask somebody else to do that for you very inexpensively, based on the keyword research that we'll show you how to do. Another option might be to add WordPress to the site that you've already got. So for example, if it was yoursite.com, we could add another site on to the side here called news, and in that, and the news aspect would be a WordPress site, or yoursite.com blog, and that would be a WordPress site. And once that was in place, then you could go to the free WordPress tutorials on Web Delegation, or whoever you delegated to do that on your behalf, and they could learn how to get on top of WordPress. And it's a learning curve, but it's a long, slow, shallow one. But you know, you can start straight away. So, or you could do both. Optimize what you got, add WordPress, and just carry on like that. So, you know, don't feel that, even though Web Delegation is very much focused on WordPress and the benefits of WordPress, and they are many, and I would seriously suggest you consider adding WordPress somehow to whatever your site is, if not replacing it with a WordPress site, because the benefits are just amazing. I don't want anyone to feel left out if you haven't got a WordPress site and thinking, well, no, I don't need that now. I just want to improve what's going on regarding my search engine rankings, and that's quite understood. Now, if you don't have a site yet at all, of course, it's perfect, really. Because you can start the right way and build everything properly from day one. And I know it's very frustrating when you haven't done that, and I've been there, I know. I mean, if I could go back in time and redo all the sites I've built over the last 10 years, I would rebuild them all as WordPress sites, but that's not the way it is. And that's why some of them that continue to rank well and earn me money are very difficult for me to edit, and they're sort of just dead ducks sitting there floating in the water. But anyway, that's by the by. If you haven't got a site yet, then what we need to do is this. You need to do the keyword research, which is in the next coming up sub-modules. On the basis of that, you're going to buy a domain name, because sometimes the domain name you buy is relevant to the keyword research. Say, for example, you were an Italian restaurant in Chelsea, then italianrestaurantchelsea.com would help you rank highly in Google. Certainly at the current time, the way Google are doing things at the moment, it would help. On the other hand, if you've got a restaurant called Luigi's You might prefer to, if you could get it, to buy luigi's.co.uk or luigi's.com or luigi'sitalianrestaurant.com. So anyway, I'll get into this later, but it does help if you can get your search term, which you will have established via your keyword research, into your domain name. But it is not, you don't have to do it. And I suggest that maybe in the future Google won't be worrying too much about this. So anyway, you buy the domain name, then you get a hosting account, though you can do both at the same time. I personally prefer buying my domain name separate from my hosting account, because then if my hosting account goes funny, I can just point my domain name at a different hosting account. In a way, again, I know that sounds complicated, but we'll talk about it later. And then once you've done that, then you install WordPress, and that can normally be done with a good hosting account in 2 clicks. It's not something you need a programmer to do for you. And then lastly, you point the name that you bought, the domain name, and you point it at the hosting account. So when someone types in www.luigi'sdelicatessenchelsea.com, it points to the hosting account where your WordPress blog sits. And again, as I say, I'll be talking about that more later. You can do all that yourself, and that's great if you want to do that. Or these red arrows refer to our chums at the Free Blog Factory, who'll do all that for you. And the reason they'll do that for you for nothing is because when you tell them what domain name you want, they'll set up the hosting, they'll install WordPress, they'll make it all look nice, and themes and plugins and so on, because they'll get a commission from the hosting account company. Doesn't mean you'll pay any more. You'll pay exactly the same as if you did it yourself, but it's just a quick way if you want to get something done fast. So they're great people over there, and a lot of my clients have used that, and no problem, they're really good. However, you can do it all yourself, don't worry about that. And then whichever you choose, then you've got the option of going to the WordPress tutorials that we feature here on Web Delegation, which take you by the hand. You can ask questions if you don't understand something, how to write a post, how to set up a page, how to add an image, how to do it, from really baby steps to quite advanced stuff. But the great thing is you can ask, as I say, as you go along, anything you don't understand. So that's basically, now it's the end of this little mini sub tutorial, I suppose. But essentially I want you to come away with this saying to yourself, what have I got already? Do I have a site? Do I want to stick with the site I've got, optimize it in other modules, and Clive will show me how, Web Delegation will show me how, or do I want to bite the bullet at this stage and maybe think about changing it? I'd say hold fire, don't do anything yet, don't make any decisions, go through the whole of module 0, because we have got a work required submodule coming up. But I think what's important is that you do some keyword research first, and let's find out what your clients are actually searching for online, and why they're not finding you, or at least it's not as often as they should. And then at the end of this module 0, then you can make a decision as to the best way forward, because the future modules are all going to be based on the premise that the site you've got now, or the site you will have soon, will be superbly optimized for the well-researched keywords I'm going to show you how to find, that is going to basically bring clients to your door. Okay, I'm waffling now, so I'm going to stop. Okay, I look forward to seeing you in the next module.